So for today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys the Snow White Polly Pocket. So I decided to purchase this piece among other reasons because Snow White was one of my favorite Disney princess movies as a child. I didn't like to watch it at night because the witch really scared me. So I went on eBay and I was lucky enough to get it for $75. It was a steal because most of these are going for like $100+ on eBay. So it was really great to be able to get it for that low of a price with all the pieces and everything. And it lights up and all that. So that was great. Unlike my Magic Kingdom Castle Disney playset, this playset is actually by Bluebird, the original company that made the Polly Pocket. So this one is not made by Mattel, but it is a Disney partnership. So it's in the style of the original Pollyville playsets with like the house and then this like ground area around it, but it's not like a huge playset like the size of like the Wizard of Oz compact, if that makes sense. And then at the bottom of it you can see it says on it Bluebird, and then it says Disney, and this is from 1995. And then over here there is a little area that you can open up and put in a AAA battery, which is quite a small battery compared to the battery sizes the other compacts have required. So it's really nice and it does light up. And then before I get into showing you guys like all the details of the rest of the compact, I do want to go ahead and show you guys the individual pieces. So let me go ahead and do that now. Right, you guys, so I have all of the pieces over here. So this set comes with Witch, Snow White, of course, a little like pot that you guys will see when I open the compact where it goes, but it's removable, and then all of the 7 dwarves. So first I will show you guys the Witch and Snow White. So this is Snow White. She is, I think, supposed to look kind of shocked and like surprised because there's a scene in the original film where she looks very like shocked when she sees the witch. So I think that's why she's in this like shocked position, but I could be wrong. So she just is wearing the classic Snow White outfit, although I am noticing now that she doesn't have the little red stripes on her sleeves. And also I feel like in the original film she was very like flat-chested because she was supposed to be like 14, and she looks very busty in this particular Polly Pocket. So I don't know, but yeah, that's just something I've noticed with this figure. And then we have the witch. The witch is crouched down and looks basically like the witch in the real movie with that apple, of course. I think it would have been fun if the apple was actually like removable and you could give it to Snow White. Like that would have been so cool, but oh well. And then I noticed too on the bottoms of these it actually says Disney on it. So that's the witch. Then we have the silver pot, and it's really hard to find the sets with the pot. Sometimes they don't have them, although this pot, like it doesn't, like this part, it doesn't move or anything. So if you didn't have this piece, you could always make it out of polymer clay. Like it wouldn't be that hard, but there is an area in the playset for the pot, so I will show you guys that. And then finally, we have all 7 dwarves, and they're definitely, they don't have a hinge, like they're meant to just stand because they're obviously shorter than Snow White. So like they're like this, like they're basically like up to her elbow. So they're quite tiny, but not like outrageously tiny. They're dwarf sized. So we have Grumpy in his red shirt. They all have like a slightly different outfit. Then we have Happy. He looks very happy, of course. Then we have Doc, and what's interesting is I think he's supposed to have glasses, but he doesn't have glasses in this. Instead, he has these like weird blue cheeks. Although, oh, maybe those are supposed to be his glasses. I don't know, you guys. I'm confused. But this is Doc, and he has his finger up because he's supposed to be the wise one. And then we have Sneezy, who's always sneezing in the film and causing issues. And then we have Bashful. And then this is Sleepy. And you can see he has big under eye circles because he's supposed to be sleepy all the time. And then we have Dopey. I'll say he's supposed to be like younger than the other ones, like he's like a child. I don't know. All I know is that they would never name him Dopey if they made the thing today. Like, I was kind of surprised that in the new version of the film they still named him Dopey, because I just feel like that's like not really appropriate for kids. But because when I think of Dopey, I think of like drugs. So I don't know. But this is Dopey, and he looks dopey. So those are all of the pieces. So I'm very, very lucky that I was able to get all of the pieces for this set. Because, you know, there's a lot of dwarves, there's the pot, like there's just so many elements that could easily be lost. So I'm very lucky that I found them all. So now we're gonna go back and I'm gonna show you guys the playset from the outside, because there's just certain elements that really, you can really only explain with the characters. So yeah, let's get into it. Alright, you guys, so now I'm gonna show you guys the outside of the playset. So obviously, because this is Snow White, everything pretty much happens in her cottage. So it doesn't actually happen in a castle, which is kind of unique, but also kind of why I wanted this piece, because, you know, I already have that castle playset. I don't really need 50 castle playsets, but this was very unique, and I thought like, oh, how cute. So this is her cottage, and there's a few elements that I will show you guys. First, we have this like little like water pool thing, like kind of like a sink, and this is the scene where they like wash themselves because they have dirty hands from mining all day, and Snow White is like, you need to wash your hands before you can have dinner. So that's what this is. And the only detail I noticed that's like really annoying is there's this little area here, and this is supposed to be like a soap bar and bubbles, but you can't really tell because it's the same color as the wood. So like they should have like done that differently. But anyway, we'll imagine Grumpy here, because Grumpy didn't want to wash himself. And you can imagine putting him there. And then over here, there is this like, I guess pebbles or something, and there's a spot to put one of the dolls. Really cute. And then over here, if you guys can see, and this part does light up the part above it. Let me see if I can get it lit up. Yeah, see, it lights up. So that way, you guys can see there's like a little door, and it's actually, because this is the cottage for the dwarves, it's too small for Snow White to fit, so it only fits the dwarves, which I think is kind of cute. Oh, that's the dwarves. And then over here, there's this little space, because if you remember in the film, there's a time when Snow White is inside, like making a pie, and the witch comes to her window and like scares her, and she's like all shocked. You can put the witch over there, and then you can move her from side to side, and she can scare Snow White, which I think is just so adorbs. And then over here, there's the bridge that kind of crosses this little like river or whatever, and that is where the witch goes and takes like a boat to Snow White's cottage. So over here you can either put the witch, or if you want you can put the dwarves, because they also take the bridge to get home. So that is super cute. And there's like a little like tree stump with an axe on it, I guess for the dwarves to do their axe work. I don't know. So that is really cute. And then I loved how they did the bluebirds up top, because the brand is Bluebird. So the fact that they did the bluebirds up top instead of some other kind of bird was just like the cutest detail ever, in my opinion. And then over here on the side, it kind of moves like this. This is a barrel, and this is what you're supposed to press to control the lights. And you'll see there are several different lights within the compact, including this outdoor one. So you just push it down, and that's what controls the lights. And there's this chimney. There's so many like details. It's really incredible how they like remade it, but they remade it into a Polly Pocket set, so it's a little more colorful but still really, really cute. And there's also a like little decorative barrel here on the hinge, but there's no like, it doesn't do anything. So that is kind of all of the different areas of you know, the piece outside. And then I'm gonna go ahead and open it up and show you guys the inside, which is even cuter. But a lot of stuff does happen on the outside of the cottage, so I do like that they included that aspect of this piece, because you know, when you're playing as a kid, you want to like tell the story, so it's really important that they included those elements. So I just loved this cottage, like it's so cute. This is the compact all open up. So I think I will first show you guys the lights and how those work, and then I'll show you guys everything else. So the way this works is that if you press it once, this baby goes on. This, whatever this is, I don't know, is that supposed to be like a fireplace? Like I don't know. And this area over here where you hang the little pot so she can make food, and then you click it again and it even flickers, which is so cool. And this is the light that is also on the outside, but then kind of also is in the bedroom. And then up here you can't even really see it, but this light is over here in this like awning area. And then they all turn off. That is so cool. I absolutely love that. And then there's all of these different like kind of crystal pieces all over that are supposed to be the crystals that they mine. So I love that, but they don't light up. The piles of crystals don't light up, only the other areas, but I love that they did that. Like, it's so cool. And now I'll show you guys the rest of the piece. Over here we have this area, and this is where they all sit for dinner. And this actually comes out. It reminds me of the way that the Magic Kingdom Polly Pocket would like come out like that. The one ride in the Magic Kingdom Polly Pocket like would twist out like that. that's what this is like. So you can have a little more room, and if you want to, you can put, there's no like place to like stick her in, but if you wanted to, you could put Snow White in there so she could get scared by the witch if you wanted to. And then there's the little dining table that tucks in there, and the way you're supposed to do it is you're supposed to fold her in there, but then the dwarves themselves are just supposed to stand directly on the chair, like they're not supposed to fold. So yeah, and there's 8 chairs for the dwarves and Snow White, and I'm not gonna bother to put them all in there individually right now, but I will insert a picture of what it looks like, and it's so cute. There's all these little plates and a little picture, like it's so cute. I absolutely love how they made everything like slightly more colorful, but like still very like Snow White-esque. It's so cool. And then over here in this like awning area, and I'll turn on the light so you can see it a little bit better. In this awning area over here, there is this creepy thing. I think it's called an organ. I'm not exactly sure, but the way it works is there's a lever on the back, and the way it works is that you're supposed to move said lever to like move the little tongues or the little whatever those things are. But honestly, it just looks really creepy. Like I don't know what they are. I know it's like a piano and those, like, I don't know. It's just creepy. I don't like it. It looked a lot less creepy in the movie. I don't know why it looks so creepy here. Like, it's just very creepy, but I mean, it's still cute. It's just like, why is it so creepy? And there's like a rug and some wood, and then there's some more little, like, what are they called? Crystals? Gems? Rocks? I don't know. Anyway. And you can put one of them there. I don't know who actually plays the organ in the movie, but you can put one of them there and he can play, which is just so cute. And I love that they put the light up there. Like, that is just so cute. So yeah, I definitely think the creepy organ is like not the best, but it is what it is. And then over here we have the kind of main area where she cooks and she dances, and there's the stairs, and there's kind of all this stuff going on here. In this purple area, there's a pickaxe which they use to mine. There's some more of these crystals here, and then you can put Snow White in here with the dwarves, and they can dance. So I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys that. So I've set it up now so you guys can kind of see them dancing. So the way that this is supposed to work is that you move this little barrel thing and they can dance, which is just so cute because that is a huge part of the original movie, which is that there's these dancing scenes, and she's always dancing and singing, so that's like a really big part of it. And then I put the different dwarves in the different areas just kind of like all singing around. And then there's also like random pieces that, like, I think this is a sink, even though it looks really creepy. And then there's some bottles, and then there's obviously the area for her to cook, and then there's of course the steps where we go upstairs to their sleeping quarters. So we'll put Dopey there because make Dopey go first to figure out if there's a monster upstairs, even though it's just Snow White. So we have Dopey, and he's on his way up the stairs, so that is so cute. And then they actually make their way up the stairs, and this area over here is their bedroom quarters. And once again, I'm not going to bother to put them all in. I will insert a picture because I'm lazy, but I will go through and just show you everything. This is absolutely adorable, you guys. They have their little beds and the pillows have an indent and you can put their head in there, which is just like so cute. And then each one does individually say their names. I'm not gonna like go through them, but each one does say their names. And then they are also supposed to be a bit messy, so there's like clothes laying around everywhere. And then there's like a random blue barrel. I don't think it does anything, it's just kind of random. And then what I found to be like so weird, you guys, is what is this? Like, is this supposed to be like a bundle of their clothes? Like, it literally just looks like a giant chewed up piece of bubblegum. Like, I don't understand what it's supposed to be. So that was kind of weird. And then there's obviously the fireplace that kind of warms them at night because this was made in like 1920 or 30 or something. I don't know. And then the only thing that like really irks me about this, this is like my own like OCD sentiment, okay, is that the way this is like, you see how the beds are so neat here and neat here, but then here, instead of the beds being on like a flat wall and being next to each other, they're like tucked into the chimney. And like, I get it, I know why they did it, like it probably just like had to be that way for the compact to work, but it literally irritates me so much that it's like not even. Like, I just hate it so much, but that's just me. And then there is the area for Snow White to sit and say goodnight to all the dwarves, which I just think is so cute. So I love this, but yeah, that one area does just annoy me so much. And the weird wad of bubblegum or whatever it's supposed to be. So yeah, you guys, that is the whole Snow White Bluebird Polly Pocket. I absolutely loved this set. It's so cute, and if you guys like really loved the Snow White movie like I did when I was younger, then you guys are just gonna absolutely love this set. So if you guys have watched the new Snow White Disney movie, let me know what you guys thought of that below. I know there was a lot of controversy revolving like the doors and the actors and actresses and such, but I do think like it was a pretty good remake, considering like I like how they incorporated the jewel element. So like everyone, like the queen is all about the jewels and like the, you know, and mining the jewels and stuff, and I think that's kind of cool. I really liked how they had added more of like a storyline, because the original was like so vintage and like so bad. Like literally the whole plot of the vintage movie is just like, if you sit around and do dishes, your prince will come. Like that's literally the whole plot. It's like, it's pretty horrible to like see someone, like a woman, like doing dishes and just being like, one day my prince will come. Like, it's horrible. So I definitely think they improved upon that in the new version, regardless of like the politics of the new version. So let me know what you guys thought of that. But overall, I love this Polly Pocket based on the old version. I just think it's so cute and I'm just obsessed with it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and bye bye.